guys, welcome back to another episode of Mayla's Mysteries. Let's address the obvious. Okay. Kayla isn't here with me today, Callie is.
Hey everyone, great to be here.
And today we'll be looking at ancient Egypt and offering some explanations for the unexplained. First, let's start with time travel.
Now I know it sounds crazy, but Stephen Hawking said it could be possible. Scarlett Moffat first claimed that the pyramids were built by someone in the future, and she was ridiculed by her friends. But her rationale for this theory was that in order to travel back in time, we had to go faster than light. The speed of light is the same latitude point as the tip of the Great Pyramids. The speed of light is like 319 and then a load of numbers, so about like 319 million. And that's the exact same latitude point as the tip of the Great Pyramid. So I think, this is her speaking, she thinks that someone from the future realized we need the pyramids and went back in time and built them.
She was so sure of it that before she went onto a reality TV show, she called Hawking, who at first failed to respond but eventually said that the theory wasn't totally out of the question.
Now, I'm not sure if I believe this one. I mean, it sounds pretty out there. How could they know about the speed of light and build the pyramids exactly where I'm just not sure.
I really don't believe it because she probably called Stephen Hawking like 500 times and was like spamming his phone and was
right.
She's like, "Hi, I need you to say that I'm credible so I don't embarrass myself in front of a million of people, million of people, million of people, million of people, millions of people."
Yeah, no, I know. She's like, it's like, I don't know. She just sounds a little bit like a weirdo.
Just a little bit. Okay. Now let's move on to the Sphinx. Take a look at this picture of the Sphinx. What's wrong? The head. The head of the Sphinx is weirdly not proportionate to the rest of its body. Considering that most of ancient Egyptian architecture was symmetrical and intricate, why is the head the only part that isn't?
And the Sphinx is commonly known as a lion with the face and head of a human. But what if the Sphinx was never actually meant to have a human face and it isn't a lion at all?
In ancient Egypt, one of their gods was a dog-like creature called Anubis. Take a look at this markup from ancient pages of what the Sphinx could have looked like with the dog-like features of Anubis. There are also a lot of other famous depictions of Anubis posed in the same manner as the Sphinx, with its legs out in front and like with the flat back.
With this head, the Sphinx looks a lot more symmetrical and proportionate to the rest of the Sphinx's body. And in addition to this, when a Greek explorer came to Egypt, he described something called Jackal Lake, which was described to be exactly where the Sphinx is.
But why was it called Jackal Lake? Well, if you look at the Sphinx, there are horizontal erosion lines, which means there was water there at some point. And in ancient times, there were periods where the Nile would reach right up to where the Sphinx is. This doesn't happen anymore, though, because of a man-made dam. The reason the Sphinx's head may have been broken off was due to a period of violence in Egypt, which the rebels may have broken off Anubis' head because they were protesting the government.
And all mad. And so the last remaining question is, whose head is on the Sphinx now? The answer to that is that we don't know. However, it is theorized that another pharaoh decided to restore the Sphinx and had his own head placed on the body of the Sphinx. Another piece of evidence that points to this theory is that the face of the Sphinx has eye paint strips, a common thing in the Middle Ages. But the Sphinx has been dated back to the Old Ages by the body, which leaves a big gap in the dates of when the Sphinx may have been made.
I very much believe this one because looking at that picture, I was like, why? Like, you see it and you're like,
It looks weird.
It's a little weird.
If you take a look at it again after hearing this, which you guys should do, it really does look weird. And like you said, the Egyptians were known for like their like attention to detail, like the pyramids and all that. They were like symmetrical. So like, why would they do this? Like, I don't.
Right, exactly. And another thing to point out is like Jackal Lake. Why would it be called that if it was a lion? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
I know it's like a rough translation because there were no jackals in Egypt, but like something along those lines, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So I think this theory is probably true.
Probably. I enjoy it. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Mayla's Mysteries. Kind of hot in here.
It is kind of hot. Ooh. Okay.